It was a small organized event in Oakham House. We invited faculty to come and hear speakers, have discussions, and to share with each other where we wanted to move in terms of improving our teaching excellence. I was surprised at how prescient our plans actually were, because we identified a need for faculty to come together to think about how we can use information technology, teach large classes, find new ways of teaching, find new ways of assessing students, and how we could collaborate with each other to help each other be better teachers. And there were people who had a familiarity with this subject matter because they had studied at Boise, whereas others were really very content specific in their graduate work. The people with that experience brought to those of us with PhDs in our own fields a broader expectation of what teaching could be. We had members from every single faculty who were representatives on a group that eventually became what was called GREET, the Group to Renew and Enhance Effective Teaching. At the time, most of the activities on campus and all the developmental planning were done by faculty members of these committees. One of the items in the report was to identify a need for an office where we would house people to help us with learning and teaching. And that came to an effect about 2 years afterwards. So up until then, it was all faculty volunteers, and then gradually one person took over the office and ran it for many years after that. It was 4 years after the first conference, and at that point, my responsibilities were research, SRC, graduate studies, international, but we partnered with the Learning and Teaching Office to handle the annual conference. So then people began presenting their own research. We really encouraged more and more people to participate that way, and it really grew dramatically. And it went to 2 days per year. We brought in external speakers, experts from all over to give us a keynote address. And so that sparked a lot of conversation and a lot of excitement. You can just hear the buzz at the meal times when people would sit down at tables and introduce themselves to people, people whose names they might recognize, whose work they recognize, and that always led to a lot of excitement. And I see that when faculty meet together, introduce themselves to each other, faculty are just as likely to tell somebody what courses they teach, perhaps even more likely to tell you what courses they teach than what their SRC profile is all about. When you get excited about your learning and teaching, it makes it so much more fun. And when you recognize as a scholar that you can incorporate your experience of learning and teaching into scholarship as well, you can really present yourself as a full professor in a much more cohesive way. And I'm very impressed with our faculty who demonstrate their really strong commitment to learning and teaching.